Boom! We're back. And this is a totally different style video because my gym had an in-house tournament. This is so our team could practice for upcoming matches using competitive rules. And staying true to the foundation of this channel, we get to watch a bunch of blood matches going on between white belts. Let's see how they did.
Is there a special way to tie this, or
just better than your white belt one?
Our first white belt death match is underway. We have Tom on the right taking ass to grass very seriously as he squats down into his stance. But less than a second in, his opponent's coming in looking for an Uchimata. The Luigi doppelganger uses his jazz hands to defend himself. And while he's trying to keep his arms as wide as he can to scare off this predator, his opponent comes charging in and he does the natural white belt move, the headlock. And as usual, his opponent ducks it and starts to work on his back, but Tom's able to retain guard. Unfortunately, not everyone can watch my guillotine video, so we get this instead where he's diving in to do it even though he's in closed guard. And I'm not gonna lie, I finished this, but you don't want to hang on to it so long that they can push you over all the way into mount. Especially someone like Tom who looks small but is deceptively strong. With enough time, he's able to dig himself out of the womb and he's in top mount, using his jazz hands once again looking for a gi opening. Some patty cake ensues as nobody wants to give up the dominant grip positioning. But having your arms too stretched from bottom mount is a terrible idea because they could hit you with an armbar. Focus on bringing your hands to the inside of their hips, get to your side, and start to shrimp. We see one good shrimp attempt on bottom, but you gotta do it multiple times. And because he didn't spend more time trying to escape, Tom brings his right knee over the left arm. Now a great move is to try and escape while they're in the middle of a transition, but watch Tom keep a tight grip over the right sleeve. Yes, he lost mount, but he was able to get to a triangle, which is far better than walking away with nothing. On the defensive side, we have some good posture, and then we're going to hit Tom with the unorthodox technique of rolling into the scorekeeping table and causing some property damage. Now the reward for trying to roll out of a triangle gets you put into another triangle as the reset. It's definitely looking better on the defensive side as he's able to stack and put pressure onto Tom's shoulders, making it tough to lock up the triangle. But Tom's able to do a few adjustments to the arm and maintain some tight control. And despite stacking and turning the correct way, somehow Tom created enough pressure without having a great angle for the triangle, and he got the tap. Great job by Luigi's doppelganger, and let's see what he has to say.
Oh, I feel pretty good. He came out. I was terrified, but came through in the end, yeah.
Why'd you make him bleed? That's the real question.
Dude, I told you I was hungry. Didn't have a very big breakfast this morning.
And what exactly did you do to finish him? What worked?
It was a triangle choke. Oh my goodness, I had to do a lot of repositioning of my top leg. That was the big thing.
And you forgot your green belt.
If you ever go compete, remember to give the belt or the wristband back.
Gotcha.
Despite Isaiah losing to Tom, he still started off his next round with a quick ankle pick to terrorize a new white belt. There's nothing like signing up for an in-house tournament the day of and then having some monster go to mount on you. And what's worse than mount is then rolling to your stomach so they can take your back and start to sink in a rear naked choke. We see some desperate attempts to claw the grip away from his throat as he can feel this vampire looking for blood, and the only saving grace is that Isaiah is on his side versus being completely behind his opponent. With enough fortitude, he was able to strip the grip off of his neck, and Isaiah realizes the sideways cowgirl isn't going to work. He does a heavy backstep all the way into north-south and he starts latching onto the neck. The one thing you don't want to do here is to go to front head and give them full control of your neck. You want to strip the hands. Naturally, that's exactly what happens, so Isaiah latches up a guillotine, locks the leg, and sends his opponent into the shadow realm to get a quick tap. Now it's great that I have white belts willing to put on death matches for everybody to enjoy. But what also is great is free Jiu Jitsu gear. And I'm down to my very last free bag from Gold BJJ. Gold is an excellent company that has awesome gear that can fit all of your needs in one easy, convenient way. They create some fantastic bags that will fit all of your gear in one convenient area. You'll look stylish going to the gym and it'll even level up your Jiu Jitsu. But the best part is that you can win my last bag for free. All you have to do is like the video, comment how long you've been doing Jiu Jitsu, and click the link below. They're a great company with great gear, so make sure to check them out, and let's watch the rest of the video. Now it's great to watch two white belts fight to the death, but let's watch two women do the exact same thing. We have Carrie on the left with Kenzie on the right, Carrie being a lot newer to Jiu Jitsu. But she has no fear as she charges in for a double leg, immediately gets caught in a guillotine, pulls off what could be a Brazilian tap, but either way she was able to free herself as she fell backwards to the mat, and Kenzie was like a shark that just smelled blood, wastes no time in side control, and immediately swaps over into full mount. Then shows off her armbar technique. To add some fuel to the fire, I caught the coach's reaction in 4K. And despite floundering everything and getting some massive side-eye, Kenzie still managed to be on top, albeit in full guard versus mount. She has an interesting technique of pulling the back of the shirt down while lunging forward with all of her hip pressure, and the second that Carrie opens her guard, attempting to do a triangle, Kenzie catches it, staples it to the ground, then passes in the opposite direction so she doesn't have to worry about any submission. Now, despite Carrie being pretty new, she has the right idea by using her frames to create some distance. But Kenzie doesn't care how long she's been doing jiu-jitsu, and she goes right into mount and she starts to attack immediately with the head and arm choke. The only issue is she does it just like how she did the armbar. She gets to the move, has a good setup, then flops everything. However, Kenzie is a really active guard, so as Carrie starts to stand up, she scoops under the leg. This lets her open her guard and she hits a reverse single leg where she can lift up and fall right on top, and despite losing side control, she still is able to sweep Carrie over. We see an interesting play from Kenzie where she slips her hand inside, but this puts her in danger of a triangle almost instantly as Carrie snatches it up over the shoulder, but Kenzie steps over to counter her, and luckily she wasn't able to keep the legs locked, so she's able to maintain a top side control. The next order of business is that Kenzie wants a head and arm choke, so she's putting some heavy crossface pressure onto Carrie before she switches sides and starts locking up the choke, but Carrie, ever so sneakily, puts her arm in between the two, so there's no way she'll be able to finish this choke. So of course, Kenzie cuts her losses and then looks for the head and arm on the opposite side, which was made a lot easier because Carrie lifted her elbow up, giving her a nice entry. The flaw that Kenzie has is that Carrie is able to get her hip to the floor and she's turning into Kenzie, giving her just enough of a pocket where she can keep breathing. Ideally, you want to have so much pressure driving into their neck that they turn away from you. This will give you an extremely deep bite and there's no way that they can withstand all the pressure and they'll have to tap out. Kenzie, however, realizes that this won't work, so she goes back to mount so she can maintain a dominant position. They end up playing a little bit of patty cake as Carrie's trying to escape and Kenzie wants to get to a better spot so she can redeem herself for her failed submission attempts, but ultimately the time runs out just as she's going for another armbar.
I need you to not put that armbar attempt clip in the video, because that was embarrassing.
What
It's so funny.
does this say, Kenzie?
It doesn't have my name on it, actually. So I think I'm just not allowed to be in the video. That's really weird.
For the final match of part 1 of this video, we have the return of Tom going up against a far taller white belt. It starts off with some very standard low-level grappling where both people are tying up in the gi and they don't know any judo, so we get to watch them both stare at each other. Luckily, Tom saves us by going for an interesting duck under by pushing the armpit by. He gets behind him and he swings him all the way down to the ground, trying to take his back in the process. I wasn't able to get the best camera angle here, but Tom was working both hooks and relentlessly attacking with the rear naked choke. I wasn't joking earlier when I said Tom is actually quite strong, so getting threatened this early with a rear naked choke is a terrible spot to be in. He's able to sink his wrist blade right over the throat and clear both hands. Not even needing to go to the Monteleone choke, he's applying full pressure and he gets a quick submission over his opponent. See you guys in part 2.